Quah Order. Hello and welcome to Quah Order, a podcast that takes an inside look at Issaquah Police Department. I'm Tim Smith.
It's Corporal Marty Martin, Issaquah PD.
And we're your hosts for Quah Order. And our guest on this episode is Officer Troy Kemp, here to talk about his new position as the Issaquah Police Department's Community Resource Officer. Welcome, Troy.
Hello.
So let's just start right off. I know it's a new position that the Issaquah Police Department's never had before. And can you kind of talk about what Community Resource Officer does, your role here at the city?
Yes, there's, like you said, it's a brand new position. No one's ever been in it before, so there's some growing pains and some flux that we're working into. But it pretty much has a couple of components to it. A commercial aspect where you deal with business owners like down in the Front and Sunset area or the Highlands Grand Ridge area, troubled residences that we have multiple police calls to that you will come in after patrol has been there and try and have a permanent solution to the problem. And then there's also a crime prevention aspect to it, educating the public on aspects such as removing items from their vehicles, burglary prevention at their home, things along those lines.
Oh, that's great. So are there any specific programs or anything that's going on, like things that you've started, outreach, that type of thing?
The city has stepped up their efforts for the homeless transient population. So I take a large role in that, in working with Congregation for the Homeless to partner them with the city also. On the crime prevention aspect, we have started Coffee with a Cop. We've had one of those so far this year. That was a great success. We're going to be having another one shortly after Salmon Days, but before the holidays.
So what is Coffee with a Cop?
Coffee with a Cop is just simply that. It's just sit down and be able to talk with your neighborhood officers. We had admin staff there come in too and be able just to sit down. If people have concerns, they can voice them with the public or with the police. And it's no public speaking, no nothing like that. Just sit down and chat.
So how was the first one? How'd it go?
Very well. There was a lot of positive feedback from it. We actually met some members of Eastside Baby Carriage. They brought their group over, and in partnering with them, we were able to get some car seats for the department that we'd never had before, too. So we actually made some relationships in the community, too.
Oh, that's great. What else are you going on?
We're starting a Pause on Patrol crime prevention class.
Okay.
So basically what the background to that is it's a national program that was started, and it's been around Washington for a little bit, and some cities on the east side have their own spin to it, so we decided to do the same thing. And the background to it is that people are out walking their dogs, and when they see something suspicious, a lot of times they don't call right away, they don't take any action or anything like that. They call the police when they get home 35, 40 minutes later, and what's there is gone, or what they had viewed is gone. So this is a class. I put on a little class for them. It takes about 45 minutes. It teaches a person how to be a good witness, what to do when they see something like that. We don't want the citizens to take any action. We just want them to call us and let us know at the time.
So you're not training their dogs as canine units?
No, no, it's nothing like that. It's just that if you look around town, there's dozens upon dozens of walking trails, and people are always out and about. It's one of those things. It's just a tool to educate the public to say, when you see something, call us, and we'll come out and take a look at it.
Right, to train the citizens' eyes. When you're out and about, it's just another set of eyes for the Issaquah Police Department. Well, yeah. That's a great program. How'd the initial sign-up go?
I have over 45 signed up off the internet.
Wow.
Confirmed. I had to break it down into two classes. I got about 15 to 20 in each class right now.
That's great. So, Community Resource Officer. What's the impetus of this? Department-wide. I mean, for years we haven't had one, and now we have one. I mean, why? Why now? Is there an answer to that question, or?
Well, the city is growing and it's changing. The police department itself is changing, and it has to grow with those times too. A while ago, the emphasis was always on traffic enforcement. We have traffic problems in town. There's no doubt about it. But the citizens and the powers to be have said that there's other concerns from different areas, and they wanted one person to focus in on those special issues. So patrol still goes out and handles the bulk of the workload, But they deal with a lot of people in crisis and emergency situations. And then my job, like I said, is to follow up after that to make sure that all those loose ends get tied up. So you have to have multiple different tasks.
Okay. So if a citizen is, do you handle block watch? I'm sorry, did you already say that?
I did not, but yes, we've revamped our block watch program.
Mm-hmm.
Prior to, we had one legal block watch program, which met all the parameters of it. And to be honest with you, to be in block watch there's a lot to it. Okay. So we're trying to simplify it down so we can get more people to participate in it and have more community action in it and get more signs out. And one of the things we want to emphasize next year is at National Night Out, we want people to start their block watches then and start holding the parties in their neighborhoods, and we will come to them and interview or meet with their communities there.
Oh, okay, so the thought is to decentralize National Night Out maybe next year and really get into people's neighborhoods and that sort of thing?
And when National Night Out was originally started, that was the main focus of it. It's to get out and meet your neighbor. So a lot of people house these parties like a block party, basically.
Right.
And that's what they're intended to design for. But everyone loves the party over at the over at the police department too.
Well, maybe you can do two. Maybe you can just have an open house on a different time of the year and do National Night Out and get out to the citizens. Well, that's really cool. That's a really cool idea.
I got a question for you, Troy. So there is, a big concern, and you've voiced a lot of them, and it sounds like with all these different programs and things that you've been doing and have been starting, you're answering a lot of questions. Now, it's been, how long has it been since you've been in this position?
I think we started it in like the second week of May.
Okay, so at least 4 or 5 months now. Feedback from citizens, are you receiving any? Good, bad, or indifferent? Has that changed kind of how you're starting this program. And that's a part of this podcast too, is let people know is that you're starting this. You want to know what is working in the communities and around the city, what things aren't working.
Sure.
What type of feedback have you gotten from?
Well, there's kind of 3 so far that stick out in my head. One is we had some overnight burglaries up in the Highlands, the Grand Ridge area, and it was like 2 businesses that got burglarized right back to back. So the association manager up in there called me one day, and we just spoke for about 25 minutes about the details that I had and what I could basically tell her. And she was very thankful and said that the position was overdue, and she loved to have someone within the police department that could reach out to her and have that conversation with her. Another one was just recently there was a neighborhood meeting that I went to, and they voiced some concerns. They had applied for a street light, and they weren't able to get it through the city, but they wanted some extra feedback on what they could do. They were concerned about a duplex down the road from them was kind of a central location for a lot of problems in their neighborhood. I was able to get with code enforcement, and they had recently put up a legal fence, and we're in the process of getting that removed or taken down now too. And the last one that strikes me is we met a few weeks ago over at the library with the downtown business owners. And they had their meeting, and I was sitting in, and they had some concerns about, I have a lot of people coming in possibly committing crimes in my store, and what do I do? So with Karen Donovan, the head of the Downtown Issaquah Association, she and I are going to get together and put together a training class for the small business owners who really don't understand what the police role is in dealing with crime, trespassing, theft, things along those lines. You get a larger store like a Fred Meyer or a Target, they have a loss prevention, they know what they're supposed to do, but these smaller businesses down here really don't, and they're all on board, and they want to be educated so we can all be on the same page. So those are the 3 main things that stick out at me so far.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, that indirectly shows that you are listening to our citizens out here, and you're putting those concerns, those comments into action. And partially, I was aware of this process. Obviously, I sat on the oral board with Troy, knocked it out of the park. However, talking a little bit more about you kind of specifically, and this is kind of the part of that I like doing through these podcasts, is that you're not homegrown from Washington. Where are you from?
I'm actually from, I was born in Wisconsin, and when I was 2, my parents moved to a suburb of Minneapolis, and that's where I basically spent the next 39 years of my life.
Right, and you were an officer there?
Yes, I was an officer for almost 14 years there, and then just transferred over here. So
okay, so with that, just that alone, that brings so much perspective to our city in programs. Because I think we were having a conversation one time about some type of program was structured there in Coon Rapids, right?
Correct.
So we've kind of talked about what you're doing now, a little bit of your history, where you're from. Were you from the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, or?
Yeah, it's a northern suburb of Minneapolis.
Oh, okay. So a similar size?
No, actually the town was very about triple the size of what Issaquah is. So we had a larger department. This is a 66 or 67 officer department with a little bit higher crime rate than when we had 2. So we had different programs that we instituted. A lot of them were established when I already got there. And some of them actually worked really well, which I'm trying to bring now to Issaquah to help us out in some of the situations that we have. One of the programs I'm looking at is crime-free multi-housing. It's a partnership between the police department and apartment complex owners to reduce or eliminate crime within their buildings. It involves adding lease addendums when people sign into leases, which makes problem residents easier to evict. It improves their property. It helps them with retaining good renters and keeping the bad ones out. There's other cities get involved. There's a database that collects why people were evicted from apartments. So if someone in Renton right now gets evicted from an apartment, they come to Issaquah. We don't know what their past is. The apartment complex management company, they don't know what their past is, but all of a sudden now they've brought their problem to Issaquah, and that's what we're trying to avoid. And it worked out really well where I came from, and it's another national program. It's just not implemented here yet. So we're going to try and get that going also. Yeah,
and there's a lot of new multifamily housing dwellings coming in the city, so I think it's a great program as we continue to grow. Any other programs looking forward that you're thinking about implementing over time?
Well, the crime-free housing one, that one is an undertaking
right,
just to get
imagine.
That going. Off the top of my head, I really can't think of any more that we're...
It's not like you don't have enough on your plate right now.
Right. Yeah, not to make you commit to anything, that you're actually doing.
Sometimes, and we've all been there, where we're trying to help and give answers to questions that these folks have, and we get to the point where I don't know. I can't help you. I'm kind of at my wit's end. I don't know what other resources I could tell you. Well, with Troy in the CRO position now, that one, it gives more opportunity for those business owners, those troubled residents, or the little neighborhoods within our city to voice their concerns to a person instead of a website.
Right.
That's pretty neat. Another thing too is that on the patrol aspect is we could say, hey, Troy, I talked with A, B, and C. They said, they're trying to get a hold of you. There's a bridge that we connected. Another one is, hey, I don't know if you talk to this person or this business, they're kind of having a problem, and then it's more or less like a referral type thing, so we're all working together in handling these projects, even if Officer Kemp doesn't get emails, voicemails, which he's up for, and he's very, very poignant in returning those and getting back to you and letting know what's going on. So, Troy had to hit the ground running with the CRO spot, and I knew he was the guy at the job. He's been doing a great job, and just keep going, dude. It's good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So if people want to find out about any of the programs, kind of like Pause on Patrol or Coffee with a Cop, how would they get that information?
There's a couple of ways. One, follow the city on Twitter or Facebook. All those programs are sent out every so often, and the information on that. Otherwise, the city's website is always updated with what we have going on. Paws on Patrol, as of right now, you can still sign up for. We're going to have multiple other classes for that. Or you can just contact me via email or phone at the police department.
Okay. Just kind of curious, moving from the Midwest out here, what are the differences that you see right off the top?
No snow.
No. Maybe this year we'll see.
No snow, no cold. Those are two of the big ones. The laws are very similar. We've hired some officers from Arizona and Georgia down in that way, and a lot of the laws that they had down there aren't the way Washington did them.
Okay.
When I came here, it was very similar. They just called them different names.
Okay.
We had crime of damage to property. Here they just call it malicious mischief. It's the same thing. It's just got a different title. Things along those lines.
Is there anything that surprised you?
Yeah, the marijuana.
Right.
Having to give someone their marijuana back after they get out of jail.
Yeah, that is kind of odd. I can see that. Well, welcome to the city.
Thank you.
This really sounds like a great program. I know just by working with the communications team here in the city that your programs, that Coffee with a Cop was really successful, and Paws on Patrol, the initial sign-up, that sounds really, really fun and exciting. So we really look forward to more things that you're going to be bringing to the city and bringing more friendly faces to the police department. You know, Marty can't be the only friendly face. No, there's a ton of them.
There is a ton of them. Mm-hmm. So, quick on your feet. Okay, I have questions for you.
All right.
Single word answers.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Is this like Family Feud?
Kind of. NFL or NHL?
NFL.
Sweet or spicy?
Sweet.
Pancakes or eggs?
Eggs.
Twins or Vikings?
Twins.
Trucks or scooters?
Trucks.
Salmon or raccoons?
Salmon.
That's it.
That was a good answer. That was really great. I think you answered all those and you passed, and you can stay in Issaquah.
You could have not answered and you still passed, Troy. We want to keep you around, man. You're doing a good job.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, Troy, thank you for joining us on this edition of Quah Order. And everybody, thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.
10-12. June 6.
Quah Order.